where the danger is. You know where the danger is.
My views on this one is like, I wish if this can happen each and every after 2 weeks or monthly.
Guys, hey. Today we are starting off. Today we are starting off with different energy. So much is going on. We are living in a state of life called allegedly. Everything that we are doing now is alleged. Everything that you're doing is alleged. Because why did the UPDF release a statement about the alleged beating of journalists? I mean, this is so bothering on so many levels. There is simply no room for taking responsibility. I mean, there are videos and pictures of people being beaten, and there are videos of people escaping from army officers. Man, for context, there is a by-election that is happening in the Kawempe area to have a member of parliament to replace the late Muhammad Segirinya, rest in peace. And this election has gotten violent. It is so, like, a lot is going on. People are being beaten up. Now, yesterday, reports came out that journalists were being beaten, and anyone who was holding a camera or recording any kind of activity that was going on, their device was being broken and shattered, and they were being beaten. This is all alleged. But like I said, we are living in a state of alleged and allegedly. The Uganda People's Defense Force released a statement today, and guys, man, it's like, it's just unbecoming. And in my opinion, this Kawempe election is setting a precedent for the general elections we are going to have next year. And hey man, it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. Because if things are uncover like this at the start, and which is a by-election of an area that has, I think, less than, where the total voter registration should be like less than 300,000 people, or if I am wrong, kindly correct me. How about on the national scale? What is going to happen? What is going on? Hey, shall we make it? Shall we make it? It's not looking good. But anyway, welcome back everyone to Bono Radio. My name is Joe Chivumbi. I am your host. I just had to get that out of the way. I mean, it's just unbecoming. It doesn't make sense. I mean, there's videos of people. There's actual evidence of people being beaten. I have a relative who is actively pursuing journalism, and me as me, man, no, the rate at which a journalist risks their life, especially for such, if you're in that line of work where you're not like investigative journalism, where you're doing political journalism, things can get messy really, really fast. And I wouldn't advise anyone to go into it. But let's get on with the show. Guys, there is a man who lived for 100 days without a heart. It is always amazing how far medicine can go, and I mean, so many strides we are making in the medical field as the human race. It's really really amazing. So CNN made a report uh, of a man in Australia who lived for 100 days with an artificial heart. It's made out of titanium, and it has, they call it a rotor. So it's like something that is rotating inside it, and it has magnets. So they connect it to your heart using tubes, and it essentially does the work of pumping blood. This man was he was scheduled for a heart transplant. He was to receive a heart transplant. He's in his 40s, so you can imagine, I guess, middle-aged kind of person. And he received the implant in November last year. And in February, he was the first person in the world to leave the hospital with the device, which kept him alive until he got a heart just recently. I mean, it is really, really amazing. It is a leap forward in I guess evolution. I don't think it's evolution as such, but like in the medical field, to treat and to help. And one thing I know is that people who are on transplant lists, man, like it's not easy to be on such a waiting list, man, a waiting list of life. So like you essentially really get, like, you're in line for death until you get a transplant, and transplants are expensive. I don't mean like the organs, but like the procedures themselves, they cost a lot. It is hectic and stressful. And then also after whatever transplant you've gotten, could be a kidney transplant, could be a liver, whatever body organ you've received could reject you, or the body could reject it, and still there's a high chance of failure. There's also a chance of failure when like the procedure just refuses because it is a surgery. Aish. But I am always impressed when I am reading the New England Journal of Medicine and seeing that there is progress. There is progress to furthering health and the lives of our like human life generally. So if you want to check this out, it's by a company called Bivacor. I don't know if that is how they read it. Bivacor. It is an Australian company, and they did this titanium heart. So it's really really impressive. Just check it out, read about it, and get to see how we are evolving as people. Away from that, I want to talk about something that is on the mouths of so many people nowadays, because I mean, we are in the global village. The internet is joining all of us together, and everything in our lives is becoming internet based. So in each and every aspect of your life, there is some form of computing. What I want to talk about is algorithms, and the algorithm, as people usually say. And in simple terms, an algorithm is a procedure or a flow of steps taken to achieve a certain goal or an activity. That is what an algorithm is by definition. So today I am going to talk about recommendation algorithms in particular, because all the service providers that we use, all of them, internet-based service providers, they have some form of recommendation algorithm to, I think, in my opinion, I think that recommendation algorithm is to keep you glued to the platform, really. But I guess also it is to interest you, to pick your interests, and to maybe educate you and teach you about something. Who knows? So, recommendation algorithms. Why I'm choosing recommendation algorithms? There are so many kinds of algorithms. If you are like a software engineer or like a computer science major, you understand what I mean. But in this particular episode, we're going to explore our recommendation algorithms. So, for avid Netflix consumers, avid Amazon Prime consumers, avid Spotify users, even the average YouTube user, or like people who watch YouTube on their phone, you are consuming content from these platforms, and the way this content comes to you is because it is recommended, and how that content is recommended is by an algorithm. So what goes on in the background? This is a really technical thing, so if I start to speak technically, I might not retain some of my listeners, but for the sake of education, I'm going to keep it light. So when you're on these platforms and you're consuming services and information from these platforms, whatever you're consuming is recommended to you, and let's say a specific genre or a specific not phenomenon, but like a specific kind of what you're consuming is going to be recommended to you, and it's going to be continuously recommended to you. How so? So when you start using these platforms, usually the first in your setup process, they ask you what would you like to see. So for example, on TikTok, they ask you what your interests are. Is it music? Is it dance? Is it in real life content? Is it comedy? Is it same thing as the movies, the streaming platforms? They ask you what genre of movies are you looking for? Are you looking for documentaries? Are you looking for comedy? Are you looking for action? When you come to music, they ask you what kind of which artists would you prefer? They sit on Spotify, for example, or like Deezer, or like Amazon Music. They ask you, you are listening, or I mean, you're joining the platform, which artist would you like to start with? So that is the initial point. Now, when you set up these preferences, as they are usually called, you are teaching the algorithm, in quotes. The algorithm is going to learn from you how you are consuming this content. So how you are consuming this content could be watch times, like how long you consume a certain kind of content, how much volumes, so how much of a certain content, a certain genre of content you're watching. Yes. And let's say if you also comment on those things, for example, on like YouTube, if you comment, it is going to learn how you behave in relation to that specific genre or group of content. So the more you consume this content, the more it understands what you want, and the more it is going to recommend or bring you the same or similar kind of content. That is how you can see that maybe on a platform like TikTok, you can watch one person's video and you watch it in its entirety, and then a few scrolls down, like after us. If you didn't know TikTok, how it works is that when you load a video, TikTok loads the next 10 videos down. So when you reach the 10th video, they load 10 more videos. So that's how it seems to sometimes work, even if like you're offline or you're going to go offline for a short while. It seems like the video is up, a video is down, keep scrolling because they fetch 10 videos ahead. But anyway, the point is that if you watch a video in its entirety, then you have fulfilled a certain kind of metric, and that metric is watch time. So when these algorithms, it's basically code, I should say, when these algorithms see that you fulfilled a certain metric, they will recommend videos in line with what you've watched. So if you watch TikTok, for example, for 5 minutes, and you watch each video for 1 minute, and let's say those videos are 5 minutes each, then you won't have retained a very long time on each video. I mean, like, you won't have your watch time for each video is really low. So it is very, very hard for TikTok recommend that kind of content again. Same thing with, now the thing with Spotify and, for example, Apple Music, like for them, they are different. It's not about how long you listen to a song. For them, it's about the kinds of genres that you listen to and the artists that you listen to. So if you listen to a certain kind of artist, let's say you're listening to Jonathan McReynolds, you are going to be recommended Tasha Cobbs Leonard. Like that is the kind of, because first of all, they are in the same genre. So it is a group of, it is gospel music that you're listening to. So they will recommend you other artists who are gospel music, or even artists who have collaborations or features with that artist rather. So if you listen to Kabza, religiously, your Spotify will definitely recommend Mapolisa. Definitely. If you're listening to international, let's say you're listening to Afrobeats, and in fact you're not listening to Afrobeats, let's say you're listening to Alte. If you're listening to Alte, the Spotify recommendation is going to give you other Alte artists. It's going to give you other Alte artists. It's not going to recommend mainstream Afrobeat artists, because first of all, Afrobeat is a different genre, even though Alte and Afrobeats all are predominantly Nigerian genres. So what I want us to learn is, every time you say the algorithm is not doing what you want, you should sit back and actually understand that these are computers and they are doing exactly what you tell them. So garbage in, garbage out. If you're going to consume sports content and your YouTube is going to religiously recommend sports content, you can't again go back and complain and say, but the YouTube algorithm is messed. The YouTube algorithm, that is how it was designed to operate. Spotify, their algorithm, albeit, man, right now with the coming of AI, I think, or with the popularization of AI, recommendation algorithms are getting spoiled by AI. I still stand by the old Spotify recommendation algorithm. It was just chef's kiss. The old Spotify recommendation algorithm, it was too good. It was, and I think that the target at the time was to discover new music. So you would discover a lot of music from that from one listening session. Unlike right now, where you if you're listening to something, it is going to recommend something over and over and over again, and add it to the queue multiple times. But with the coming of AI, some of these algorithms are no longer what they used to be. But you should know that how your algorithm recommends is dependent on your consumption. So if you want to change how your algorithm responds, you need to change your consumption. If you want to stop your Spotify from recommending a particular genre, let's say you're listening to Ugandan music only on your Spotify. If you want it to stop recommending Ugandan music on your autoplay, you need to religiously listen to different genres. And this is in my personal testing for at least 2 weeks. And this is coming from a person who daily drives their Spotify. Like, my Spotify never keeps quiet. So I listen to a lot of music. So my at least I can say mine is not like there is always something new. Also, Spotify has a feature called day lists where they recommend music to you for the day. I think it's one of the good features that Spotify released in the recent past. That and offline backup, good features. But in other words, the DJ thing hit for a minute, but it is no longer giving. That one I released. Yeah, it is not. So guys, as you're consuming this content, learn that the only way you can change the content recommended to you is by changing the content you consume. Yeah, that is it. For also, this applies to social media. I forgot to talk about social media. Things like Twitter, Instagram. Instagram got messed up. I don't know, they messed up their recommendation system for a minute, where it was just recommending people who you don't even know or follow. But I think they are working on it, because at least now it is not dangerously recommending certain content. Also, you should know that some of these things these algorithms, they are localized. So that means like it is going to recommend stuff according to your location, and sometimes that is a restriction. It could be a good or a bad thing. Sometimes you see platforms where you can't access certain content in certain countries, so that is also embedded into the algorithms. Yes. So as you consume content, please stop blaming the algorithm. It is you to change what you're consuming. Otherwise, today I guess I just wanted to rant. I just wanted to rant, but thank you guys for listening. Thank you for sticking around. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, we are building on that bigger stuff to come. Just keep your eye out. Peace.